Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Xander. Now this tutorial is part of our Express.js Prisma ORM Query Fundamentals course. You can access this course playlist available for free on YouTube. For deeper learning, the full course is available for purchase at Udemy. Find all the resources and links in this video's description. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channel for weekly promotions, discounts, and Udemy course giveaways. In Prisma, you can work with date and time fields using datetime type. So this field type maps to a timestamp in the underlying database, and it stores both date and time information. Now, in actual fact, in Postgres, there are a number of different field types we can use for date and time. There are fields purely for storing date or time, and we have the generic timestamp, which will store both the date and the time, and that's generally what's utilized here or is provided in Prisma. There are more advanced options, so thinking about the time zone, using a timestamp for the timestamp. So when you need to store both the time, date, and the time zone information, but we're just discussing this course at the timestamp. We'll keep it nice and simple. So we're going to store both the date and the time without any time zone within our fields. If we take a look at the mapping of Prisma and Postgres, we can see that in Prisma, it provides by default date time, and that's going to map across to the timestamp in Postgres, which will store date and time with milliseconds. So there's a whole bunch of fields where we specify the timestamp, start and end date here in promotion events, in products, probably a few more. So we have in stock management and the need for a timestamp, and as well as orders. Now, if we take a look at the products table, we have created at and updated at, and this data might be used for a number of different reasons. So created at, so we can identify when the product was first created in the database, created at, and then updated at. This will be recording when that data was last updated for a particular record in the products table. This information might be useful for auditing or potentially reporting on product data. Now, how this works is that when we create a product in the database table, we want to assign created at to the current date time. And then whenever we update that product data, we're then going to populate the updated at. So we have a decision here maybe to make that when we initially create a product, do we want to also populate the updated at field with the current date time like created at, or do we want to leave it empty? So let's go back into our product here and let's define some more fields. So let's go for created. Now remember, we need to use camel case, so created at, and that's going to be we learn a date time field. So we also have updated at, so we need to decide here on the date time, but we need to decide whether this needs to be empty or not. And what we can do, if we want this to be a null field, which we'll discuss in a little while, but we'll add it here, then just use the question mark. And that's going to ensure that this field doesn't have to be inserted, or data doesn't have to be inserted in this field when we add a new product record. Now, don't forget, if you do need something different, time, date, time zones, then you can map across, like we've done with the other fields, to a time field or a date field in PostgreSQL. Now, the take home here is that the datetime field in Prisma is a versatile data type that allows us to store both date and time.